gentlemen, I'm absolutely thrilled to introduce our special guest on today's episode of Tell Me Your Story. Hailing from Lawrenceville, Georgia, we have the incredible Leida Laster joining us. Leida is not just a reimbursement analyst, but a true inspiration whose story is bound to touch your heart and ignite your spirit. In 2016, Leida faced a daunting battle with Guillain-Barre Syndrome, a challenging journey that tested her strength and resilience to the core. Despite the odds stacked against her, she emerged from this ordeal stronger and more determined than ever before. Her unwavering spirit and indomitable willpower are a testament to the power of the human spirit in overcoming adversity. Today, Leida stands before us, ready to share her remarkable journey of triumph, growth, and transformation. Her story is one of unwavering courage, of turning setbacks into stepping stones, and of using challenges as opportunities to rise above and shine. Get ready to be inspired, motivated, and uplifted by the incredible Leida Laster as she embarks on a new chapter of her life, poised to rock and roll while sharing her empowering narrative with the world. Now I pass the mic over to my nephew, the man, the myth, the legend. Give it up for my boy Baker. Let's go.
Hello, everybody. Thank you for watching and listening to the podcast Tell Me Your Story. This is your host, Chris Baker. And today I am honored to have a special guest on tonight. Her name is Leida Laster. And just like everybody else, I just want to say thank you for coming on the show.
You're welcome. Thanks for the invite.
It's truly an honor just to have you on the show. But, let's jump right into this. Let's talk about, and let's go back to, where did it all start for you, your personal growth? How did everything start off? Was it like, actually, let me say that. Take two. Talk about your childhood. Let's jump into that.
As a child, I hated living in the country. And now that I'm 40 something, I would love to go back. We lived across the street from my grandparents, and that was the best thing ever happened in my life. I think I left for Virginia Beach in 5th or 6th grade, and that was really, really hard. I passed out crying when we were supposed to be leaving. But it was the greatest. It showed me things that I would never, ever see if I stayed in Alabama. I went to Norfolk. That's where all the ships come in, everybody. So you see all kind of people. I wish I still kept my yearbooks. But it showed me that there's more than 10 streets of Black people.
Really?
Yes, it was 10 streets where I lived in Alabama with Black people.
Now, I heard, is it true that there's some parts in Alabama that are still segregated?
Yes.
And I mean, kind of go into detail what it's like. We're living in 2023 now, and we think, okay, that's all behind us, right?
Mm-mm.
No.
No. I came home from school one day, and there was a cardboard picture in the yard with the KKK on it. You need to die. Niggers.
Really? So
And I
it's
was born in 78.
so it's kind of like what you read about in history books, where it's you think we're past that time period, but yet this still goes on to this day. Like, does it feel like it's captured in time out there? Like time has not moved, it's froze, and it's still in that time period. What's going on?
Yeah, I was shocked myself.
And I heard something about the KKK marches and parades out there. That's how crazy it is.
I never saw one. I'm glad I didn't. So I'm quite sure they have them in certain areas further in the country because they probably don't even want to let people know who they are. I'll probably come across a few, but they wouldn't disguise themselves.
Yeah, I mean, that sounds about right. At least you were able to avoid it. Sorry you had to deal with that, by the way.
Thank you so much. It's growth. It worked out very well. I came back to Alabama 7th and 8th grade, and I was real excited. I get to go to school with, people I know. 9th, 10th, 11th grade, she moved to Atlanta. My mother did. It was the best thing that has ever happened in my life.
Really, talk about like how different it was. Like once you left the country, and then you kind of went to the city. What was that?
A lot of people told me that I wasn't going to make it in the city because people are going to beat you up because of the way you act and the way you look. And I was like, well, I don't know about that. I've been to the city before, so I wouldn't know. So my first best friend I met at the health department to get our shots. She was light skinned too. I live right behind Lenox Mall, one of the staples of Atlanta, in the city of Buckhead. No, I'm lying. Buckhead isn't a city yet. It's still Atlanta. We rode the bus, and that going there expanded me much wider than I thought I could be. They would bus people from the south side of Atlanta to over to Buckhead because we had chorus, we had drama and foreign language. So they were getting bussed in from the south side. So one day I was like, Mama gave me the card. We're gonna go leave school. I was the only one got in trouble because my mama got the voicemail before I did. But I really didn't know where I was. I knew I was in Bowen Homes. They told me Bowen Homes or East Lake Meadows. That didn't mean anything to me. I don't know. I don't know if I'm an award now or not. So it took a while for me to figure out that, oh my God, I shouldn't have been over there. Oh my God. So that changed my mind too, because I didn't only had one friend off the bus. The rest of them were riding MARTA back and forth from the south side, Decatur, Atlanta, all from over there. So that really opened my eyes too, that I love so much. But then again, I went home every Friday. I went to a football game here in Atlanta, and they had you couldn't walk around; you had to stay on one side. What are you talking about? In the country, we get to walk wherever we want, how many times we want. So, but I still, I came home every Friday. Either my mother would bring me, or I would get on the bus. One of the bus rides became horrific. So I'd always make it there before for the game. I'd have my boyfriend at the time from down there leave my ticket at my grandmother's house, my football and the dance ticket too. But I would go home and they didn't know some of the radio stuff I knew. I'd bring them tapes back. People are probably going like, oh my God, no, it is true. I mean, they didn't get BET for a long time. When I got BET, I was like in the 7th grade.
Wow. Really?
So
You think in Atlanta, like, that would be more known?
I'm talking about Alabama.
Oh, okay. So,
Yeah.
I'm so sorry.
Yeah, they were jumping on him. They had Tower Records. I went to every Thursday night. I went over to get my tapes and came back and took them home. So
So
it was
when
a great experience.
you brought it back to Alabama, everybody was like, "What is this stuff? What do you got?"
And there it goes. You think you're better than us because I said, I'm just trying to get out some good music. That's all I'm going to do.
I try not to talk in an accent either.
It's okay.
I found it slipping out when I was doing that. I was like, "You know, who do you think you are?"
No problem at all. I'll probably sound the same as you do.
And then that was what I was thinking too. Like, you probably had an accent too when you went out to the in
Yes.
the city. You were like, "What's up, everybody? How y'all doing?"
I have been accused, and even to this day, that I speak proper, and it makes me better than everybody else because I speak proper.
Well, you can't help that.
Exactly. Exactly.
They
All
used
right.
to. Well, see, the thing, my wife she's from Florida,
Mhm.
and she said when she came up here to Ohio, she was they would put hillbilly feet on her desk because of her accent.
Really
Because
fit.
she would say, "I'm fixing to do this," and a lot of people would be like, "What are you talking about? What do you mean you're fixing to do this?" She'd be
Me.
talking Southern, and so the teacher, what she would end up doing to try to help out her situation, is she would put like these little painted toes on her desk when she started
Kids
talking
are
her
mean.
accent, like
Kids are
trying to
so
help her
mean.
out.
Kids are so mean. Uh-uh. Kids are mean.
So high school was pretty good though, right?
High school was great because when I went down there in 9th grade, actually I was supposed to go to school in Tennessee, but Mama found another DOD job in Atlanta, so I went down there. Um, it was eye-opening. The first school we were in is very dilapidated. It had two buildings, I think, two buildings and like 50 million trailers. I've never gone to school in a trailer before. But we could leave campus and go get a lunch or go get some McDonald's and nobody would know. It was the best. We did not at that point in time. We had no policemen in our schools yet. Ninth grade came, and I always thought that was kind of weird. I guess maybe I wasn't really catching on to where I was and what was going on around me. But I felt that was really crazy. But it worked. He's the one caught me skipping school, so it worked.
It put an end to that, right?
It was a shocking experience, though.
You're like, I'm about to go to McDonald's, and security was like, "No, you ain't."
This is not the old school. We got buildings now.
I'd like to touch on a little bit too, city-wise, for people that are watching or viewing. Is it like, are you driving a city bus? Or are you on a little yellow bus?
For me going to high school here, or them shipping people from the other side?
Yeah, from your high school year.
Yeah, they did modern. We rode the bus because we were the closest. A few of us rode buses, but most of them were on MARTA buses, which they would give them cards and they would, do that. I had no idea what riding a bus was. We don't have buses where I'm from. We didn't even have Uber. I guess we do have Uber. We wouldn't call that back in the day. It is catching a ride with who you can to get to where you're getting going. So I learned how to drive really early. And one Sunday, my uncle got sick, and I had to drive a 5-speed all the way from Chattanooga to Atlanta. You couldn't tell me. I mean, I was a pro driver out there. After that, I was like, I can do anything. Mom was like, "Oh no, you cannot."
No, you can't.
I was like, "Well, okay." I had fun while it lasted for that one trip.
That first taste behind the wheel, though, you were like, I need to get my license.
Right, because I failed my test 2 times.
Hey, I'm right there with you.
I sure did. I failed my driving test 2 times.
That maneuverability is something else.
Oh my God. Mom was like, I'm not bringing you back from Atlanta no more to get I got an Alabama license, even though I went to school in Georgia.
What?
Mm-hmm.
So you had to go out to them dirt roads, huh?
I was gone maybe 3-4 minutes. We did a 3-point turn. I still could not hardly park myself. I have to get somebody else to do it. When I had a mate, I would do the footwork and he would do the steering wheel. So now I just ride around because I can't do it. It's not healthy for anybody or safe.
You got one of them fancy backup cameras?
No, that's the problem. I've never had one, so I'm an old school backup person.
Okay, so you use the side mirrors in the rear.
In the rear view. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Change them according to what I need to see. Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Every day.
I bet you a lot of people these days don't even know how to use. They're like, "What are these? How do you use these?"
They don't know. When I went to Chicago, she was like, "You're gonna have to parallel park." I said, "Well, I can't drive nowhere. Call me an Uber because I'm not about to be destroying everybody's cars out here."
So, as you got more deeper in high school, when did you know what you wanted to do with life? What year was it? Was it your junior year, senior year?
I
College?
think it was. It originally was my 9th grade because my mother was a computer analyst, and we had that old time computer with a floppy disk.
Oh yeah.
Nobody knew back down south. We didn't even know what it really was. And so the green and black screen, I said, I'm going to be that person. No. The first semester, I was like, no, the first year now, I was like, I don't want to look at black and green for the rest of my life. So then I went into entrepreneurship and business. So I just dabbed a little bit of everything, but insurance was my thing.
Nice.
Medical insurance, health insurance. I help people find discount ways to get their medication and I still do that, even though I haven't worked since 2017. It just feels so great that I can teach them that there's a better world out there that we can get free stuff from.
Yeah. And that's really what people need to get in touch with, to be honest.
Yes.
A lot of people don't think you got to do that 9 to 5 all the time. Or you got to work that double, that 12. just to make it comfortable living. It's like, no, there's so many platforms nowadays that the window is open, man. You can do it.
Mhm.
You just got to, connect to it, learn more about whatever you're chasing after, and pretty much, I mean, that's the goal. Is like whatever you're doing right now, whatever your goal is, whatever you're chasing after, you can make that into a career. And a lot of
Yes,
people are
anything.
doubt about that.
Anything. Are you an influencer?
Yes.
Oh, wow. Tell me about that.
What would you like to know?
How did it happen? What do you like about it? Why do you do it?
Well, how I got into it was actually it started with DoorDash. I don't know if anybody's hip to that, but
Mm,
it all started with DoorDash and just learning because you're working as a third party. And once
mhm,
you figure out, like, okay, I'm doing a 1099 now because I'm making my own, this is my own business pretty much.
mm,
And a lot of drivers who are listening right now, you might not think that, but it actually is. You're doing
mhm,
your own thing. You're making, you're not sharing your tips with anybody. You're not giving it away. The only thing that you're losing is when you cash out that $2, but that's really hardly anything when you're making what 150, 170 a day.
mm.
A lot of
Oh,
people can't do that, but that's where it really started for me. Is like I seen opportunity and this many outlets really is to put it by doing DoorDash, and I seen like okay, if you can make money by doing this, what else can I make money doing?
mhm.
And that's really where it started for me.
And then what did you want to do after that?
Well, that's how this podcast came into play. I started getting into because you have a lot of time, you're waiting for food and stuff, depending on wherever you land. And like I've said many times before, it all started at Quaker Steak and Lube. I don't know if you're familiar with that, but yeah, it's like yeah, they got burgers. They're mainly known for their atomic wings, the atomic wing challenge. You got to sign a
Oh,
waiver because their wings are so spicy. I've done it, and to be honest, guys, it's not that bad.
mm. I'm
But
not a
anyway,
spicy.
back to
Not a
what I was
spicy.
saying. So I ran into an older fella that was a host there working, and the question popped up in my head: what did this guy do for a living? Was he always in food? Did he always, is this what he did for his career? So out of curiosity, I decided to ask him the question: what did you do for your career? Has this always been what you've done? Just to kill some time. And little by surprise, he caught me off guard. He would go on to tell me that he actually used to be, you know, head in the banking, working for the government, you know.
Mm,
And as I was sitting there listening to him tell his story, I was just thinking how many people that we walk by each day and know nothing about, but could have done something very important in history. So the next time I was at the next store I should say is I was at Walmart getting an oil change, and out of curiosity, I saw an older gentleman sitting next to me again. So I decided to ask him the same exact question: what did you do for a living? He would go on to tell me that he used to own his own grocery store before Myers and Walmart and all that stuff. He did it for about 30 years. But Myers came into town and took all his business. So, as his doors were about to close, he had to make a decision. Is he going to retire or is he going to, help the competitors? And that's what he ended up doing. He ended up becoming the general manager for Meyer and helping them become what they are now.
that's wonderful.
And hearing these stories inspired me to, create a platform to allow people to use their voices so that people can talk and tell their stories and share their information and stuff that they've gone through in life, how they overcome a lot of stuff. And I believe without a doubt, for you guys that are watching and listening right now, this is for you. This is not just for, anybody's special. Everybody's special in my eyes, put it like that. And this is a platform for you. You can come on here and tell your story. You can, promote your business, do what you want. Just talk about anything, really. Anything you want to share, get it out to the world. That's what it's all about, this whole platform right here. Tell me your story. It's exactly that. Now let's get back to your story. So there we are, senior year. What was going on? You were getting ready for college. What was going on?
Yes, I was hoping that I would go to Georgia for college, but I did not. I went to MTSU in Middle Tennessee.
Okay.
I knew some people who lived in Murfreesboro. They didn't go to school. I only knew one person from back home that went to school. We had great times, great times, great times. But it was like back in the day, I had a 13-inch little big back TV in my room. She's giving me $30 a week for college. And I'm like, this is not going to get me into any parties. So she said, well, I'll give you $60 every 2 weeks. I was like, Call the grandparents. I had everything I wanted but a car. You are not getting a car and driving around the campus. I don't remember when I got a car, but I loved college. I loved it. I didn't like the fact that I picked a 7 o'clock class. Nobody schooled me on there before I got there. Nobody
Well,
did
I
that.
mean, that's not too bad. For me, I like to get in there. I went to the University of Toledo, got my associates in journalism. But I agree with what you're saying. I love it, man. The parties were awesome. But, you outgrow them eventually.
Mhm, mhm,
Once you start to get more serious about your career, what is that?
No sleeping in class.
Don't be,
No
yeah,
sleeping.
when your professor's tapping on the desk like, hey, hey.
Because they knew we had been in the streets.
Oh, yeah, of course.
In a 7 o'clock class, you have been in the streets.
I mean, and for the students that are watching as well, if you're not sure what you want to do in life, I wouldn't say go to college right away. Kind of get yourself out there. If you're not sure or decided on what you want to do in life, and you kind of get ideas, get out there and do like an internship, kind of fill in somewhere. Get a feel for like if that's really what you want to do. Not because your parents are telling you what to do. This is your life.
It's dead.
Make sure you want to do what you're setting to go after.
I think it was about 1,300 to go to MTSU every semester. And back that was a lot of money. A lot of money. I stayed on campus one semester and then I got my own apartment. So how did I end up in my own apartment? I don't remember. Oh, I remember now. After I didn't go to school for that semester, me and my boyfriend moved to Nashville with my cousin. So after that semester, we were like, I was like, let's get an apartment. So I had met him at the club. I had seen him at this dinner place we went to, but he said, I saw you looking at me. I was like, really? And when we got to the club, he asked me to dance. We dated forever and ever. I don't remember how long it was, but I never married him and I should have. I should have married him. I didn't know like the rings he were really giving me were like, engagement ring. He never said, Leida, marry me. But a lot of men don't say that. They just, like give you a ring. He had a ring too. I don't know what I was thinking, but life went on. So he was from Virginia and DC. He went back in 2003. I was at my grandmother's house in from Murfreesboro on a Sunday, and I'm packing up my stuff, getting ready to go. And I receive a call, and it's Chris's grandmother. I've known Chris most of my life, and he was back in town. And she was like, "Hey, baby, this me, Mom. He wants to come see you." I said, "Okay, it's before I leave for Nashville." And from that day forward, we were together. Very toxic relationship on both sides. We ended up getting married. We married 3, 4, 5 years, so I don't even remember when. But it was a learning lesson of the things that I will never, ever, ever, ever allow me to do. If you're ever unhappy, leave, say so, raise your hand, even if it's not what the other person wants to hear. And that's what I'm trying to do in life. Be ready for both answers.
Yes.
You can't just for the good one, but maybe if they say the bad, how are you going to accept that and process it?
Yeah, sure. How long did it take you to? Okay, you said about 3 to 4 years, but what made you decide enough is enough?
his mama was like, you have got to stop doing this. His mom was like, you've got to stop doing this. You need to leave him. It was like he ended up leaving me, even though I should have left him before. But oh my God, me with a divorce. Oh my God, how's that gonna look to my friends and my grandmother's friends? If I would have known that it looked like that, I would have done it before. Yeah. So it wasn't a bad divorce. The reason why it was good, I ended up finding a 3-bedroom townhome, and they were selling, giving away the model home. Everything in here is from the model home except for my clothes. Everything and dishes. Those are stuff I brought. It's a 3-bedroom, wash and dry. Each room has a bed and a chair, and then the dresser of some sort. Everything in here, forks, spoons, pictures, all that stuff. And I was very lucky because we were getting ready to cut that down the line. You get the couch, had this habit, I get that. It was gonna go that far. But we didn't have any children, so you need a divorce in 31 days. I think it was like $80 to file, I think. So we had her an attorney in his building write up the thing. So we both signed it. And in it, it said, I gave him the house. It says you will sell the house or pay the house and pay your car bill. He didn't want to. So when I got the documents, I sent them over. I had him served at his job. He was livid. I said, if you would do what you need to do, we would not have to be this far. I said, I was nice, and you did not even do what I asked you to do. The day that we went to court, he said, oh my God, she had my car repossessed. I said, I don't know what you're talking about. I said, they probably came to my house looking for it too, but I got my own car. You got to do that. But it was a learning lesson that if I'm not happy, change. But then I got sick. And then you just accept what goes on because you think that you're not smart enough, you're not pretty enough, you're not intelligent enough because you've gone through this neurological disease that people, a lot of friends fell by the wayside. And I was telling my mother, everybody has a season in your life, a season. When I got sick at 36, 37 years old, I was still jumping with the cats. Okay. Riding all over the state, going to parties, just do what 30-something years do. But people from there could not come over to be in this season that I am now. What can they do?
Wait a second. So you said, when did it start happening to you? When you realized like you were getting sick?
When the lottery here was over $1 billion, and we played at work, right? So my hand was itching, and Mom was like, I cannot believe you're saying that out loud. I said, I was called. If your hand is itching, you're gonna win some money. But we didn't win. So she was like, see what I'm talking about? I said, whatever, man. So I was in Alabama with her. I wore 4 to 5 inch heels every day, work, whatever.
Ouch.
And we were in a hospital in Huntsville with her, and I had on some wedge sneakers. And I was like, oh, these shoes must be too little because my feet feel numb. I'm gonna get what's going through my mind. So then I realized that I was sleeping all the time. I lost my job. I did go to the hospital. I didn't go to the hospital immediately, which I should have. I remember I fell out the bed and dislocated my knee.
Oh,
that got worse. I remember crawling down stairs to get a Coke. I remember calling my cousin, come stop by here on your way home. I dislocated my knee. He called back. I said, never mind. I'll put it back in. Of course, he goes about his business. Mom was like, what? I said, listen, nobody wants to admit that they're sick. I don't know what my tone was. I had been to the ER. They told me I had anxiety. Then one of them told me to go to my cardiologist. So one day I'm laying on the floor in my room between the bed and the bathroom. My bed is very elevated. So I hear the key go in my front door. And I said to myself, Your life is getting ready to change. Everything about your life is getting ready to. She came in, she said, Leida, what are you doing? I said, it's a little cooler down here. The heat's too high. So, I was just down here laying down here because, a little cooler down here. She said, how long you been? I don't know how long. I said, I'm just chilling. She said, Leida, get up. I start crying. She says, you can't kill me. I said, no, I can't walk. From that day forward, my life changed in a lot of ways. And what's even crazier is when I was married, I still went to Alabama to go to church. So, pastor's wife had a wreck. They took her to Shepherd. I went to see her all the time. Me and her now have a picture in her same room in our wheelchairs.
What?
I worked in insurance and workers' comp. I had sent patients to Shepherd, so I knew about it. I never thought that I would be in there myself, just a visitor.
So when did you find out what it was you were sick with?
Well, I was walking around my mother on my feet. I mean, on her feet, because every few feet, my knee would dislocate. So we went to my cardiologist. I've had that since 5th grade. And I came in a wheelchair that we borrowed from somewhere. And he was like, why are you in a wheelchair? You're healthy. I said, Doc, I can't walk. And he may have asked a couple more questions, but he was like, hold on. I'm going to call my friend. You need to go see him. So they were like, send her through the ER. I thought I was about to get an x-ray, some pills, something, and I get to go back home. So I'm just happy-go-lucky. Hey, I'm getting ready to go home and be healed. So when we get down there, Mama and the hospitalist have coffee, and she told her what was going on. Mama had no expression on her face when the doctor stood at the end of my bed and said, look, you have Guillain-Barre Syndrome. If you do not get this IV treatment within the next, let's say 5 hours, you're going to die. I said, what are you talking about? He said, or be a quadriplegic or a paraplegic. Those words stung, because those are the patients that I had. That stung. And I said to myself, well, what is really going on? But I never, ever got mad about what happened to me, because every time I want to do something in my life and I don't listen to the Lord, that time he brought me all the way down. He was telling me, Leida, you got to slow down. Stop doing what you're doing. And you know what I say? Oh, Lord, just give me a few more days. And I'm going to do it. After this, I'm going to do it. So when I was on the floor, I told the Lord, you really did not have to do all that. He was like, yes, I did. So my life, I've seen things for other people. I talk to the Lord just like I'm talking to you. And most of the time he's telling me and I'm arguing, oh my God, I don't want to do this. But that I was put in that hospital that I had visited when I was walking. I came in a wheelchair. So after I got the IVIG, they said you had to go rehab. Well, I knew I couldn't walk good, but I didn't know it was that bad. Mm-hmm. And I was in that hospital, maybe 10 or 12 beds. I mean, you just keep thinking, Lord, not really. This is not really what's going on in your life. When I got to Shepherd, they put me in a bed. They brought me in my wheelchair. They said 8 o'clock in the morning, you're going to be in exercise. We did it 8 hours a day. I felt like talking to nobody. If a lot of people just drop by because I'm not answering the phone. My mental state is, oh my God, why am I in here?
Yeah.
I can't believe it. People would drop by lunch, come and wait in my room, because I wasn't calling nobody. I did not want any single person to see me at my weakness. And I thought I was weak at that one job. I thought I was. I was depressed. They give you a therapist. But you can't have enough therapy sessions to know. I mean, I'm telling her, if you have never been in that situation, you cannot school me on it of how I should feel. You can ask me questions about how I should feel, but how should I know how I feel?
So when did it really take effect into you that this is serious and I gotta be?
Well, when I couldn't get out the hospital bed, by myself. I said, oh no, Lord, what are you doing? I couldn't walk. I couldn't go to bed. I could not do anything. Do you mean anything? It got worse, but it got better. And I was like, do we need to go through all this, Lord? Yes. I could not do anything for myself. If you ever see a person's hands and they're like this, they are quadriplegic. My hands started out like that. They didn't end like that, but they started off like that. So it was hard. They put me on a teenager floor because they didn't have anywhere to put me. And I rallied for everything those children needed and wanted. I'm up here and I'm looking at this boy. He's 18 years old. He got shot in the spine. It's over for him. And they told me, Leida, you gonna walk again? I said, look, people, it ain't looking like I'm about to walk again. After 2 or 3 months, they stay on you. They don't let you go to the wayside. Mm-mm. And it was hard. It really was. But it worked.
And that, well,
I
like
didn't see the light.
the more like I'm just listening to it, it's just like, and you were still out partying at one time. You were still doing your own thing before.
When I got to see my car again, it had 3 pairs of shoes on the front and a some kind of shirt, a jean shirt. Because I wore flip-flops and I put on the heels when I get to where I'm going. That is what hurt me the most. I had to get rid of my shoes. That's
So
what hurt me most.
when you're battling this condition, battling, finding out what was going on, when you got your diagnosis, what was the real challenge, like the challenging part of it?
People have to see me at my weakest. I have disappointed my mother because this is just not going to go away anytime soon. And I knew some people would come see me because they could. Others who didn't, I didn't knock them. People don't like to go see hospitals. I didn't want to be in a hospital myself. So how could I say, hey, I'm going to knock you for not coming? So it was a lot of people who came to see me, and I'm grateful for every single one. And when I go back home and they see that I'm walking, it's nothing like it. It's nothing like showing people what the Lord can do for you.
Amen. Amen.
You just have to do what he tell you to do. Don't be like me and take forever to do it. No, immediately when he tell you, do it. It will change your life for the best. And like I said, one of the critical ones, Delilah and her daughter, I'm gonna say little Dee, I'm sorry, Dee, I don't remember her name. They came in, she was very young. She gets up on the bed beside me and she said, you know what? You're gonna walk again. I said, little Dee, get over there. Where are you supposed to be? She said, no, you're gonna walk again. The child prophesied on me that day. It wasn't too long after that. I began to walk. I will never forget that.
We're back from the commercial break, and she was beginning to tell us how Dee Dee's daughter, pretty much by her words, brought her back. By her words, said that you will walk again. Of course, being in that condition, that position, she'll tell you for her own experience that she doubted it. She didn't have that mindset. She was like, what are you talking about, little girl? You don't know? You don't know what I'm going through right now? But go ahead, keep telling us. So a few months later, what was going on?
I was walking. And her mother was my best friend, my grandmother's best friend. She came in, she prayed. And that's one thing you need. You need your prayer team. You can have your medical team, that's good. But you need your prayer team because without it, you ain't gonna make it. You are not gonna make it. So probably at the second day I was out there, they were like, we're gonna get a pedicure. I'm thinking to myself, I can't even walk. What is this I'm talking about? So it was another lady with me. She had an automatic wheelchair. I was in the regular one. So here we go. She's pushing me The PT is pushing me, and we're going down on this rocky, this rocky sidewalk. We're going down here to get a pedicure. And I think to myself, I thought we were going to ride a short bus then. That's what I thought. I said, okay, we can get on there. That was a bad experience too. And she is just like hitting all these things. I'm thinking, if I fall out, it is not going to, it is not going to be good. So I remember getting a pedicure. I remember I had saying to her, my toes are sensitive. Please don't do it that hard. So when you have nerve damage, if it comes back, it's hard to accept because your body is used to, it's like firecrackers all in your body whenever at any turn. So I remember my mother has a picture of me out there asleep with the cover off of my feet because I could not let the cover felt like it was 1,000 pounds on my feet. Now I must say I do appreciate the pedicure they let me have because I was that girl back in the day. I was that girl. So after that, we come back and I'm thinking, I said, Mama, oh my God, I can't go nowhere else. They just pushed me down. She said, what? I said, I started to call, you don't need no saving. I said, I know, Mom. And I was very, very blessed that my mother was with me every single day. Now, they tried to kick her out. Go ahead.
Sorry. Would you say that is what like kept you really motivated and kept you going during that time period?
We had a rule at 6 o'clock. By 6 o'clock, you have got to have yourself together. Whatever happened during that day and you were mad about, 6 o'clock, it has to be over every single day.
I like
and
that.
then if you got some some depression, something you don't think about, 5 minutes. You can only have 5 minutes to be done. Put that in your life. 5 minutes to get it out and never speak of it again. And it worked wonders for us. Because
Now,
she was frustrated, I was frustrated.
what I'm kind of curious too is, has that teaching alone helped you a lot in life? What grudges and stuff? Do you hold grudges, or has that
No,
teaching really kind of?
I'm not a grudge person. I mean, how long can you be mad? How do you benefit yourself from being mad?
Well, I
What do you
always
mean?
look at it like you don't want to hold. I always see it pretty much like how you would say God always says, "Let me take the revenge. Don't seek punishment on people. I'll do that. Let me be that." And I always looked at it too as like, you know, that's right. I don't want to be angry at somebody. Okay, you backstabbed me or you did something wrong to me, but I'm going to instantly forgive you because I want to be
You are
forgiven
wrong.
altogether.
You are speaking a word.
But I've learned as I get older that it's best to let stuff go because it really is a poison to you. That's how a lot of people fall ill, get sick, or something comes up on them, and they're wondering where it came from. It's because you got all this anger inside. You got, I'm not speaking on everybody's behalf. Don't get me wrong. This is what I've learned from my own experience. Don't allow that stuff to get into you because it gets into your veins, man. It gets that poison inside of you. Before you know it, you're dealing with all this stuff and you're wondering, like, where'd it come from? It's like, that's exactly where it came from. It might sound crazy, but it's the truth. If you look at stuff from a spiritual point of view.
But my mother also decorated my room. I had a shower curtain as a blind, and it had some scriptures on it. Lean not into your own understanding. That was one of them on there. She turned the room, everything. We had new furniture, new chairs, new just little bins. I mean, we moved in. We did move in. We did move in. And I think that helped me too. I think that helped me too. Because there was a many times at lunch where I slept through lunch. I mean, 8 hours of learning how to do. And you can't say no. You can cry, but you could not say no. I love it now. I don't know if I want to go through it again, but 8 hours is a long time. If they run like a business with your first time I got on a short bus, I thought I was gonna be okay. All right. It was the noise, that really got me. That part got me. And I think to myself, Lord, what are we doing here? What are we doing here? And why are we going? I think we went to Target. But it was, and that noise still bothers me. Nobody in a million years would think they would be on a short bus.
No.
No. You would have asked me? No. I might have been on there with some children, but not as a patient. Never.
Yeah.
They put you in there, they buckle you in, your chair in, and then you start driving off. Well, I have sat behind the driver, and it looks like miniature cars
Mm.
because you're so far up, and they're like coming towards you. I said, I will not sit in the front ever again.
Hold on, pause. Just a reminder for everybody that's watching and listening. Remember, she was starting to drive at a young age. She was driving them dirt roads, and now here she is. In this moment, she was right at the short bus. And that, I mean, reality is taking place. Did it feel like a dream? Or were you just like, is this real? Is this really happening? What was going on in your mind?
Lord, help me. Why am I here? And what are we doing? He said, you got to stay and finish what I told you to do. And I did. I ministered a lot to the adolescent floor. That was the floor I was on. And I would give them strength. And they're like, where you get? I don't know where I got strength from. I just have it.
Oh, you
At
know
that
we got that strength from. Don't play
And
that.
one of the boys from South Carolina, he had got a bullet in his neck. So he was a quadriplegic, but he was making videos and everything. Shepherd has all the equipment you need to teach you how to live in the shape that you will be when you leave. They're great at it. There's not a sad person in Shepherd. I've never been a place like that. I've met sad places over at Disney World, but there is nobody like that in Shepherd. Now, they did want to put my mother out because she liked to push me and I didn't like to drive. I mean, do well. A couple of times.
Mhm. You're getting under her skin, man. We gotta listen.
And then she'd be looking from by the door and stuff. And I said, the morning, and most of those did not have anybody there with him.
Mhm.
I was very, very, very blessed. Not one day went by that my mama was not with me. Now she would leave for the day and come to my house and get the mail, go back, but I never slept without her.
Yeah, no matter what, though, you know that you're your mama's baby. Mama's
So I
gonna
think,
always be there for the baby.
you see what I'm saying? And they try
Mhm.
to put my mama out. They'll be ashamed themselves. Um, and then the day I bit my finger, everybody came in the room because I was just yelling. I couldn't stop. It was just going on and on and on and on. They were like, well, we have to give you a Percocet. I was like, oh, no, I don't want that. But they had to, and a Xanax. And I got myself together. And that's another thing, too. The medication, I was used to taking medication. I was not used to that medication. 3 times a day. They put it all in this little coat. And to this day, I still try to get off my medication. Earlier this week, I tried it. Didn't go so well. I
No,
was at the neurologist day for yesterday, and it was a new woman. And I said, am I going to get better? My NP start laughing. She asks that question every time she comes here.
Mhm.
And the Lord probably keeps me in this body. My grandma used to say, I want a brand new body. I want a brand new body. But in order to finish what the Lord told me to start, I have to be in this condition.
Yeah.
I have to tell my testimony. I have to tell them that up to this day, the Lord still bless me, but I'm on a mission. I don't know what the mission is. I'm on a mission to get people as his savior.
Yes. Preaching now.
What? Let the church say amen.
Amen. Amen.
Yeah. Ain't nothing like the Lord.
No.
Mm-mm.
What did you say in that moment, though, when it first happened to you, when the condition really took place? Was that, you think, a lot of people, I've heard a lot of people say that, is that what, when God was saying, can you hear me now? But you got all this noise around you. Was
I
that the
thought I was
moment?
gonna die. I thought I was gonna die. I tried to call people that I knew I didn't like and tell them, okay, I'm dying. I forgive you. And what did you say a while ago? You said grudges, no grudges.
Hmm.
And I had one this week.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah, I had one this week. I think I'm over it, but I don't think so. Probably not, because I'm talking to you.
No, you gotta let it go.
You expect, I tell people, try to not set yourself up to get your feelings hurt. Remember earlier when we said either yay or nay, you have to be ready to accept either one?
Mm-hmm.
Well, June, it's been so long. I was in the hospital for my kidneys, right? My father has he has one kidney. Now, we don't talk all the time, but I really thought when I called to tell him that something was wrong with my kidneys and they asked me questions that I need to answer with those answers. He has not called back yet. And I figured he wouldn't, but I was banking on it because it's my health. Who doesn't care about this children's health? So I hope I'm over it before I talk to the therapist because she gonna be like, Leida, what you been in there doing? And I set myself up to possibly get my feelings hurt. I did. So we're back at square one. Now, I myself, I've been dead a lot of times. I have died a lot of times. A lot of times in the last past 7 years. I've been on a ventilator. I've been through a whole lot. But you're not supposed to go to bed mad.
Kind of explain that a little bit more so that, who's watching, listening can understand a little bit more. What do you mean by you were dead?
When you get, when I got GBS, it causes your blood pressure to be low. So I remember me being in this world. I don't know where I was, but I could hear this woman talking to me. And I could hear her say, come back, Leida, come back. I was moving in my mind. I want my mama, want my mama. So when they finally got me, I think it went down to 60. They sit you upside down so the blood can go to your head. This is the bank. And then they skip me. And like when I was woke up, mom was like, did you hear me calling you? I said, yes, I did. You didn't hear me? And they were like, no. So that happened a few times then.
Wow.
Yeah. During that time, that was 2016. 2018 was another year that had a lot of sickness in it. I've always been taking medicine. There's not one day I can go without medicine. I have been to my mama's house in Chattanooga, forgot my medicine bag. I have got to come home to go get it. I can't live 12 hours, and it really makes me mad. But then the Lord said, Leida, continue on your mission. So I had gotten sepsis, but nobody knew why. By this time, I'm riding Uber. I can call to my, even though I'm still staggering around to this day, I'm still staggering around, but I was like, I'm free. So that week was the week of the Alabama football championship. And I usually go downtown with the Bridgeport, Alabama boys and go watch. I couldn't. But I thought all that week, I thought I had a sinus infection. I done took some antibiotics and all this other stuff. But it was a 3-day weekend. So mama came down. Thank God she did. So we played all day long. I couldn't get out the bed. I was dizzy. She didn't know I was dizzy at that point. She knew I couldn't come downstairs to eat because I just couldn't do it. So she had gone outside for something. And that's when I said to myself, Leida, it's time for you to go to the hospital. It's time. You done played enough in this bed all day long. You have got to call on people and tell them to come. And when they came to get me, they smelled like smoke. You know, the firefighters come before the police. They smelled like smoke. You know what I said when I was in there? Why do y'all smell like fire? He said, we just came from a fire.
What? What?
I said, no. He was like, yeah, we just came from a fire to come get you. I said, well, I'm going to pray for them people. I'm going to pray for y'all too. Because the job you have, everybody can't do it. Everybody cannot deal with fire, sickness, any of that you go through every day. And I said, I hope y'all have an outlet because it's got to be hard. It's got to be hard. It's got to be hard. And then when I got to the hospital, they put me out in the waiting room. What? I didn't pay for this emergency room ride. I don't get to get in the back immediately? No. So I remember them giving me a little blue thing and said, if you're going to throw up, put it over there. Oh my God, that man's coughing over there. He's going to give us the flu. Next thing I remember is they have their knuckles in between my ribs and they're hollering my mind. They're shaking me. And I'm like, it was like, Mama, I'll be back in a minute. She went out so they could put my IV in my jugular.
Wow.
And everything that, okay, I had sepsis. I had to be in there 9 days. 9 days. So I died that time too. I had to be resuscitated that time too. Mama doesn't talk about a lot, but I like to read my medical records. So it was just like a year before that I found it. I just sometimes don't want to read it. She's been through a lot, and a lot of things I blame myself for the conditions that I have. She's like, Mama, you just do it. When you're mama, you just do it. So I was not in there 9 days. While I was in there 9 days, I became psychosis because I had got an infection in my brain. So I remember the first 24 hours. I remember a point where I remember dying in there again because that time I got to go to the light. I died. I didn't know I was dead until like I woke up and I got to go to the light. But it was right, but Jesus was not there. It was my papa, my grandmama, and her best friend. I said, this is not what they tell people. They say Jesus is at the light. Why are y'all at the light? They arguing. Do we send her back to her mama? Do we bring her? They're arguing. And I'm like, where is Jesus? Never saw Jesus. So I saw a lot of dead people while I was in that state. I remember looking at my mama. I almost hit her with my hand. Psychosis makes you do a lot of things. They have so many tests that they have to do. At 9 days, you have to stay in there just for the infection part period. And so I had to get on antipsychotic medicine, which I'm still on, for that incident.
Hold on, wait a minute. So when you went, and you said you didn't see Jesus, right?
There's no Jesus.
Did you forget who's the light?
No. I knew where I was. No.
No, did you
No.
forget who the light was?
No. Jesus was still the light. I kept looking for him.
Jesus was
Even
there.
though I couldn't find him.
You didn't see him, but he was there.
Got you there.
He was
I
the
got you
light.
at the light.
He was the light.
Boy, Chris, you good. You good. You were good. I'm
He's
gonna
the
think
light.
about that tonight.
Yeah, you didn't think you seen him,
No,
but he was there. That's how you were able to see everybody else.
he was the light.
He was the
You're
light.
right. He was the light. Because I told him, I was very confused. I said, I had a conversation with my grown up. I talked to them. She was like, really? I said, you don't experience what I experienced to get to that point. But his light was there. He was already. Let me write that down, Chris. Let me write that down.
He was there. The light.
Jesus is the light. Jesus is the light.
And it's crazy because as you were telling me that story, it came over me. Like, tell her, come on, tell her this. She didn't see me because I'm the light. Did she forget? Did she forget? That's how she was able to see her loved ones because I made that possible.
Wow.
Nobody can get to the Father except through the Son.
Absolutely. He's the light.
He's the light. He's the
He is.
light of the world.
On both sides of the river.
Yes.
Mm.
And that's that's a blessing right there when you think about it. Like, wow.
Yes.
You didn't think about it because you weren't, you're thinking about other things. Your conscience was elsewhere. You're thinking about, holy crap, I'm seeing my loved ones. And they're up here arguing.
Like they were on earth.
Yeah.
And I was looking for him, but he was there. The light.
And he was there the whole time. You felt that peace, that love over it. That was him. That was him.
Yes.
And who brought you back? You didn't do that on your own.
No.
You didn't do that on your own.
I've seen dead people before, but I've never seen the light. I just see my grandmother's never been in this house, but she's been in here twice walking around bed. And I'm like, you need to go back where you got it from because, I want to go back to sleep. It's common. And a lot of people don't. I talk to the Lord like I'm talking to you. And a lot of people don't do that. And the Lord talks to me. I was unresponsive in Chicago, 2020. My best friend was like, come see me. I'm having a medical issue. I was like, yeah, I'm gonna come up there. And here's the thing that people need to know. Meet whatever person that you're dealing with where they are, not where you want to be. If the person does not want, I slept with her for 12 hours because she didn't say nothing. She said, all I want to do is sleep. That's what I did. You have got to do what people, we weren't about to sing. You do what people, you ask them, what do you want to do? If you want to sit and hold the phone, that's what I do. You can scream and do whatever, whatever you want to do. I'm here for you. 2020 it was really hard. Some of the stuff in 2020, I didn't even know happened. My best friend she was diagnosed with cancer after she had already been in the hospital for 2 months for something else. And she died. My best friend, my joy, died. Zelfa was my grandmother. She made me a meal every week. She bought real dishes over there to Shepherd because I want you to have a normal life to make it look like you have a normal life.
Going above beyond for you.
Oh my God.
That is a blessing right there.
I will never take the part of she was in my family for granted. So by the time October come around, I'm like, oh my God, I can't take no more. The Lord said, get on that plane, Leida. You ain't gonna get no COVID. Get on the plane. He didn't tell me what else is gonna happen. I get on the plane, I go up there, we go to the ER. And for some reason up there in Chicago, Northwestern, you can go back with the person. I'm in the back. I'm in the back with her. And I'm like, oh my God, I'm gonna get COVID in here. Everybody's nobody's still out, nobody doing trying to heal, and that's all they were doing. So here I am praying. I'm praying and praying that I got to get out of here. And then I set my purse up on the sink and water run through it. My phone, my tablet, everything was gone. I said, I ain't got time to deal with it. I got to be with her. So she went home. We went home. And I remember eating spaghetti. I do remember that. When I woke up later, I think it was 2 days later. And I try not to talk to her. I really want to know what happened, but some people just can't say it. So I got to move on and accept it what it was. So she said you were sitting on the floor, Indian style, and you were still, nothing was happening. You weren't moving, you weren't nothing. She said, I pushed you and you still didn't move. So she said, when the ambulance came, when they come to get me, they got to spend time on me. They have to spend time on me. So she said they stayed out there forever. Then I woke up 2 days later. They called my mother from Tennessee and told her, you got to get here. She didn't play. The next flight, she was there. During COVID, you're not supposed to see people. I was on the COVID unit because I needed a ventilator. And I'm so thankful to God, I got me a ventilator. Everybody wasn't that lucky. But the nurses were washing around. They didn't have on the gowns. They didn't have nothing on. And I'm thinking, am I still in America? Because we have COVID. They didn't move like it. When Mama got there, they let her come over and they let her sit with me and talk with me because they knew at that point in time I still had brain activity. They knew that. And she sat.
Hold on a minute. I gotta get a drink real quick.
I jump all over the place, but it's just things when I remember them.
You're okay. You're just telling your story.
So when I woke up, it was 2 days later. My mother had been over there. And when they woke me up, this is what they do. They shake you to make sure you can come off the ventilator. And they're shaking me. But they're calling me the wrong name. But I can see the board on the TV with my name on it. So they put you back to sleep and they wake you up. You don't know where you've been or what you've been doing. So I said, it's not unusual for me to be in a hospital, but in Chicago, oh my God, my mom was going to kill me. They said, no, she's right over there at the hotel. Can you look outside? And he said, I'm going to let her come over. She got to sit with me when I woke up. They had an extra phone. I didn't have anything when I came in. They had an extra, I don't know, hospital phone. They gave it to me. I could call my mom and we could talk for days and hours. So when they came back and told me, they said, we couldn't find anything that would make you kill yourself. I said, I didn't want to kill myself. I said, but I was on tons of medicine then. Take your blood pressure up, make you go slow. All this medication was contradicting everything. So on that medical record, it does have overdosed on it, but they don't know what it was. It was just my regular drugs. And so here I go. Mama come pick me up. Well, Mama, go back over Ebony's, she said, no, you are going home. I was like, but I need it. She said, you are going home. So we end up flying out of two different airlines. No, I did Midway. She did O'Hare. She wasn't really okay with that, but we had to do what we had to do. So not really shocked me, but like I said, I have been dead a couple times. In 2018, I don't remember any. I know I had surgery on my ankle because it's broken. I looked at it because I have to wear shoes. My neuropathy and nerves make things numb. Now, when I got out of the hospital, they were like, "Oh, you're going to be okay." So, but when your nerves come back alive, nobody can describe it. If it's like lightning or like you shock yourself, but it's like that to the 10th power. So I was having my mama come down there from Chattanooga every day crying. She was like, "Leida, I cannot do this. You're going to have to go to the pain clinic." I don't want to go to the pain clinic. I don't want to get hooked. I had to be on morphine and Percocet every single day and still was in pain. Every time I open up those bottles, I prayed over, Lord, don't let me get addicted because I know what it looks like.
Mm-hmm.
I know what it looks like.
That stuff, I was just about to ask you about that because I know that's very, very bad. That stuff gets a lot of people hooked onto it.
I prayed every day. My best friend, his name is Jason. He would come over here. I couldn't go. I couldn't even leave my room. It was just too much. I was out of pain, but I just could not move out of my room because I would have had another broken bone. So he would come over every day and give me whatever we were eating. Back in the day, I used to eat some asparagus and Brussels sprouts and a Coke. That's what I ate.
Now, I want to ask you, when you were on the morphine, when you were on your medication, were you your normal self or were you kind of like all over the place?
All over the place. And that made my mama think I was a drug addict because I was just all over them. What can you do when you're medicated like that?
Mm-hmm. My
What can
wife
you do?
is the same way. She'll go to the hospital from time to time, and depending on whatever it is, she gets hooked up to that morphine, and she just starts acting goofy.
Yeah. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Even when you take it at home, it's the same thing.
She'll be talking about there's a cow in the room. I'm like, where's the cow in the room? I'm like, what are you talking about?
I have been there. Mom was like, you can't take that anymore. You're acting. I said, well, all I know is it helps with my pain. And let's talk about pain. I got sick in 2017, 16. I have been having breakthrough pain still to this day. So I went to my pain doctor. You have to have a pain doctor. Nobody else will prescribe you what you need with your pain doctor. I've had one for forever. And I went to him and I said, look, I'm having breakthrough pain. He said, I could offer you same two things I offered you 2 years ago. There's no in between. There's no in between opiates and a pain pump inside your back. I said, well, let me go on back home and pray because I'm not doing that.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not doing it. I'm not doing it. I cannot put myself through that, my mama through that. No. I just take me some Tramadol, which they give me, and I just take it and I pray and move on because those are not, I cannot revisit that because I don't know if I'm going to be strong enough. I don't know if I'll be strong enough, and I don't want to risk it.
Yeah.
I don't want to risk it. I had knee surgery last year and I'm crying on Nisha's like, take this hydros. I don't want no hydros. I end up taking 2. I said, I'm not taking it anymore. Because you have to be mindful of that. I don't know if other people are, but I'm very mindful. I mean, when you look at TV, they go from pills to heroin. We're not doing that. And I understand how they got there because the pain, they purposely make pain pills and keep you in pain.
Yeah. And then kind of like digging into that a little bit is the reason why you're taking all this medication is because of the exact reason you're in pain and you're trying to, ease it up. You're trying to figure out how can I get this tension off of this area? Can this help it? Because I'm tired of being in pain every day, you know. And that's what you're dealing with in this moment. You're not just taking these pills because you're prescribed to them. You're trying to take care of this pain that you're dealing with.
And nobody ever offered me a different kind, healthier kind. They didn't. Nobody did. I would have loved to have done that a long time ago. But then there's fear. I have fear about taking things that are not prescribed by doctors. I don't know if it's affecting me. I don't know.
How do you think they got to there?
Yes, but I'm still scared.
That might be for another time. But the stuff that you're on right now, it's helping, ain't it?
Yes, I should be grateful, shouldn't I? I should be grateful.
But the whole journey, though, really, the more you think about it, God has been with you the whole way. The whole way. I mean, you're here because of God. And those moments when you were hearing somebody else talking, you thought, like, okay, that was my grandpa, that was my, friend, something going on. In that moment, that was Christ himself again.
Because he
using other people to get to you. Because a lot of times, I mean, we all agree that if Christ came to us today, we would be able to understand him and talk to him and, be okay with it. No. I think a lot of times we'd come across Christ and be scared. We'd be in fear. Like, okay, is this it? Is this the end? So I look at it from my perspective is God uses people that we know that we can communicate with and uses them to communicate with us and to get his message across through them to you. And your mom is your guardian angel for sure. Without her, you definitely wouldn't. Who knows where you would be in life? Your mom, just hearing your story, she has played a big factor in it.
She saves us. My nephew had a stroke and kidney failure, all organ failure last year. A trooper. Do you hear me? A woman of God. He gives her power that we don't understand.
Yeah.
We don't understand. She'll be 65 next month. We don't understand. And basically, she's healthy. She carried my wheelchair around. She did all of that, lifting me up to the bathroom, all of that without a struggle.
Like I said before, you're always mama's baby. And if mama's listening right now, I just simply want to say thank you.
Yes, thank you, Mom. Yes. You are the best. I
may not tell you, but you're an incredible woman.
Yes, you are. Yeah, she's got a shirt that says, "I'm awesome." I say, yes, you are. You are awesome.
And also to your mom, I just want to simply say thank you for praying for me. We never crossed paths, but I appreciate it. I hear your prayer. The Lord told me. Thank you.
Oh, Chris.
Thank you.
Thank you, Lord. You never know who your assignment will affect.
But here we are, cross paths, hearing your incredible journey.
So excited about this.
I mean, just how does it feel, though? After going through all of that stuff and still kind of dealing with it now, how do you feel in this moment as we speak?
On assignment so other people can tell their journey and not be ashamed of it, and show that Christ will help you your entire journey. So prayer changes things. And then what you taught me today is the light.
That's what it's all about. It's all throughout the verses. The Bible tells you everything. It's the light of the world.
I needed that right there.
I'm glad I was able to be the preacher.
Yeah. Hallelujah.
Pastor Chris is in the house.
Yes, he is.
Thank you, Lord. That's all I gotta say though. Well, the message is not from me. I'm just the messenger. I'm sending
Absolutely.
it to you. And I just simply want to say, thank you, Lord. That's it.
Mm.
Thank you. I mean, even this day alone, we go through a lot. And I've been telling people this for the last couple of months is you need to really start practicing on the spirit of gratitude, just being thankful for everything. Like you said, you woke up today, right? You got up, you got out of bed. At one point in time, you were on the floor.
Mm.
That's something that, I mean, just the small blessings that we need to look into and really just appreciate, just say thank you.
Mm-hmm.
Thank you for that. Thank you for allowing me another day, another
Mm-hmm.
dollar, but another blessing.
That's right.
Getting up, rocking and rolling throughout the rest of the day.
Yes.
As we begin to wrap this thing up, I just want to simply say thank you for coming on and telling me
You're
your story.
welcome.
Is there anything that you'd like to share, like another question I'd like to ask before we wrap this up? Say somebody right now is currently dealing with the same situation, the same battle that you have gone through in your life. What would your advice be to that person right now that is dealing with the same stuff?
To hopefully have someone who has sent up timber for you. Because when you're in the grut right there, when you're in it, you can't pray for yourself. You have got to have a prayer team around you because that's not your focus. Your focus is getting your body together. Their focus is helping you pray to get you better. Mm-hmm.
Amen. Amen. Now, if anybody wants to reach out to you, get a hold of you, connect to you, how can I do that?
Instagram is Leida Laster. Facebook, I think, is Lily Laster. I think Twitter's Leida Laster too. They can reach out anytime.
I'm gonna find your millions of followers.
By the time I wake up in the morning. I'm going to be an influencer when I wake up in the morning.
Amen. We all gotta do that.